Here's a short story inspired by the title. ##### Top HFY Story, Trust 2623 r/HFY. In the year 2623, humanity stood as one of the most influential species in the galaxy, but not for their technology, strength, or wealth. It was their unwavering capacity to build trust that made them exceptional, a trait both admired and feared by other species. Captain Amina Jiro stood aboard the bridge of the Odyssey, humanity's flagship of exploration. The gleaming ship orbited the planet Varnock 12, home to the elusive Zarathians, a reclusive and highly advanced species that had avoided all contact with the galactic community for centuries. Amina looked at the holographic projection of the Zarathian emissary, a tall, crystalline being whose form shimmered with shifting hues. Its voice resonated with an ethereal hum. "Why should we trust your kind?" it asked, the light in its core pulsating faintly. "Others have sought only to exploit us." Amina stepped forward, her expression calm but resolute, because humanity understands the value of trust, not as a currency to be traded, but as a foundation to build something greater. Without trust, there is no cooperation. Without cooperation, there is no progress. And without progress, we are all alone in the dark. The emissary's glow dimmed momentarily, a sign of contemplation. "Words are easy, Captain Jiro. Actions are not. How can you prove your sincerity?" Amina nodded to her crew. With a single command, the shields and weapons systems of the Odyssey powered down, leaving the ship vulnerable. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but no one protested. They trusted her judgment. "This is our proof," Amina said. "We've made ourselves defenseless, putting our lives in your hands. Humanity's strength doesn't come from domination, it comes from partnerships, and we're willing to take the first step, even if it's a risk." The Zarathian emissary was silent. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as the crew awaited a response. Then, the emissary's core flared brightly, its voice softer now. "No species has ever shown such vulnerability to us before. Perhaps, there is something unique about humanity after all." The projection faded, and moments later, a transmission filled the ship's comms. It was a message of collaboration. The Zarathians were willing to open dialogue and share their knowledge, marking a historic moment in galactic history. As cheers erupted across the bridge, Amina allowed herself a small smile. Humanity's greatest weapon had always been its ability to trust and to inspire trust in others. In the annals of human history, the story of Captain Amina Jiro and the Zarathian Accord would be remembered as a shining example of why humanity's capacity for trust was its most enduring strength. It wasn't just a tale of diplomacy, it was a reminder that sometimes, the boldest act of power was to show vulnerability. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments or additions. Part 2. Months passed since the Zarathian Accord, and humanity's relationship with the once isolated species had flourished in ways no one could have imagined. Knowledge of advanced technology, long-forgotten sciences, and even the secrets of the universe's deepest corners had been shared. The Zarathians had opened their archives, offering wisdom that would take humanity centuries to fully comprehend. But with all the goodwill came a new test, a shadow that threatened to undo everything they had built. The message arrived at midnight, a haunting communication intercepted by the Odyssey's deep space sensors. A human vessel, the Horizon, had gone missing in a sector known for its unpredictable anomalies. A distress beacon was activated, but the signal was scrambled and faint, barely detectable across the vast distance. What made it worse, however, was that the Horizon was carrying several Zarathian delegates. Amina stared at the blinking red light on the console, her mind racing. It wasn't just the ship that was in danger, it was the trust between their species. "We're not going to let them down," she muttered under her breath, her hands already flying over the controls. "We'll find them," Commander Cass, her second-in-command, assured her, his voice steady. "We've got the resources." But there was an underlying tension in his words. The situation was dire. The anomalies in that sector were known to warp time and space, causing vessels to vanish, only to reappear years, or sometimes decades, later, as though they had been lost in another dimension. Amina ordered the ship into hyperspace, her mind fixed on one goal, the Horizon. The crew moved with a sense of purpose, but as the ship entered the anomaly's vicinity, everything seemed to ripple and warp. The stars twisted and bent. For a fleeting moment, the Odyssey was trapped, frozen in an odd, silent void where time did not seem to exist. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the warp subsided, and the Odyssey broke through into normal space. There, amidst the void, floated the Horizon, or what was left of it. Its hull was scarred, a few sections torn open by the strange forces of the anomaly, yet, it was still intact. Amina's heart sank as she saw the wreckage. No sign of the crew or the Zarathian delegates. "They're not here," Cass said grimly. "The ship's been abandoned." "We'll find them," Amina repeated, her determination unwavering. "We trust them, and they trust us." The crew immediately began scanning the nearby area. They found signs of life, faint signals from life support pods scattered in a nearby asteroid field. The anomaly had forced the Horizon's crew to eject, but the Zarathians had survived. The real challenge now was finding them, and making sure they still trusted humanity after this disaster. Hours later, after a tense search, the Odyssey located the last of the escape pods. The Zarathians were alive, disoriented but safe. However, the look in their eyes when they met Amina's gaze was one of wary uncertainty. "You came for us," said the lead Zarathian delegate, its voice echoing with a mixture of awe and caution. "We said we would," Amina replied. "When humanity gives its word, we keep it." The Zarathian delegate hesitated. "But the anomaly, the danger, your people risked everything to save ours. Why?" "Because we trust you," Amina said simply. "And you trusted us." "Trust is the foundation of everything we build, and we protect that, no matter the cost." For a long moment, the Zarathians did not respond. Then, slowly, the lead delegate extended its crystalline hand toward Amina in a gesture of respect. Perhaps there is more to your kind than we thought." The Odyssey's crew watched in silence as the two leaders exchanged a moment of mutual understanding. Trust had been tested, but it had not faltered. Humanity had kept its promise, and in doing so, had earned a new ally, and perhaps, in time, a friend. As the ship returned to Earth, the story of the Horizon would spread across the galaxy, a tale of loss, courage, and the unbreakable bond of trust that defined humanity. This was just the beginning. Now that the Odyssey had proven its worth, other species began to take notice of humanity's capacity to overcome even the most impossible odds through trust and cooperation. New alliances would form, and with each challenge, humanity would show that their greatest weapon wasn't technology or brute strength, it was their word. Let me know if you'd like more chapters or adjustments to the story. ####Top HFY Story, Trust 2623 r/HFY, Part 3. The Odyssey returned to Earth under a banner of triumph. Yet, Captain Amina Jiro knew the battle for trust was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and while many species had now begun to see humanity in a new light, there were those who still viewed them with suspicion, if not outright hostility. There was no telling what challenges lay ahead, but Amina had made one thing clear: humanity would never break its word. A few weeks after the Horizon incident, the Galactic Council convened for its annual summit. This year, there was a notable shift. Many of the delegations were made up of species that had once shunned the Council or avoided contact altogether. Among them were the Zarathians, now eager to engage in more open diplomacy with other species, thanks to humanity's unshakable support. The summit took place on the neutral world of Viridian, a planet known for its massive crystalline structures and expansive views of distant nebulae. As the representatives from various species gathered, the air was thick with tension and anticipation. Amina stood on the platform, gazing at the diverse faces before her, each representing a world of their own. Many had never seen a human in person. It was time to make an impression. As the proceedings began, a voice echoed through the chamber, cold and full of disdain. "You claim to have earned our trust," said the delegate of the Threx, a powerful, reptilian species with vast resources and a fierce military. "But how can we be sure your kind is not seeking to control us, as so many others have before?" Amina stepped forward, her posture steady, her gaze unwavering. "We understand your fear. Your people have been exploited, your trust shattered by others. But I stand before you today not to ask for your blind faith, but for the opportunity to show you who we truly are. We are not conquerors. We are partners. When humanity says it will work with you, we mean it." The Threx delegate's yellow eyes narrowed, sizing her up. A silence fell over the room, and Amina could feel the weight of every species gaze upon her. "How can you prove that?" the Threx demanded. Amina took a deep breath, then made a decision. "I will offer my own life as collateral." The room gasped. The idea was unprecedented. No leader, no representative, had ever been willing to stake their life on a principle so abstract. Amina continued, her voice steady. "I'm not asking you to trust me simply because I'm Captain Amina Jiro. I am asking you to trust the words and actions of humanity. We risk everything for those we promise to protect. We give our word, and we hold to it, even when the stakes are high." She turned, signaling to her crew. The Odyssey's systems were immediately put into standby mode, and Amina handed her communicator over to the Threx delegate. "You may call for the immediate deactivation of our ship, our weapons, our technology, should you doubt our sincerity. You can take control of the ship and leave us stranded. If that will make you believe that humanity is not seeking to control, but to partner." A tense moment passed. The council members, many of whom had never seen a human act with such boldness, murmured amongst themselves. But it was the Threx delegate who finally spoke. "Do you truly think so little of your own people?" it asked, voice laced with both curiosity and challenge. I think humanity's trust is its greatest strength, Amina replied, holding the delegate's gaze. I think our word is our bond. And if I fail to live up to it, then I do not deserve to lead. The room fell silent. Moments passed like centuries. Then, the Threx delegate slowly extended its clawed hand toward Amina. Perhaps, there is something to your words after all, human. Amina took the hand without hesitation. A ripple of murmurs spread throughout the chamber, and for the first time, the Threx delegate seemed to soften. Your people have placed something beyond politics, beyond power. You place it in something more fragile, but more enduring. The council erupted into applause. The first true step toward a galactic alliance, not built on military might or political maneuvering, but on the simple and unwavering foundation of trust. The rest of the summit would go on to discuss many topics: trade, exploration, and security, but the most important agreement had already been made. Humanity's reputation was no longer one of just power. It was a reputation forged in the fires of trust and diplomacy, a reputation that would outlast all others. As the Odyssey left Viridian, Amina looked out at the stars. There would be more challenges, more obstacles ahead. But now, humanity had the one thing that could never be taken from them: the unwavering belief that their word, their trust, would guide them through anything. And with that trust, they would change the galaxy. Let me know if you'd like to continue the story even further or if you need any adjustments.